product comes to mind if I ask what is the most popular toy of all time? I bet every one of us would have our own opinion, but there is a good chance that all of us have either owned, played with, or came in contact with a doll named Barbie. Yes, believe it or not, with over 1 billion dolls sold, 351,000 of these came in 1959, which was the debuting year. Barbie has become one of the most successful product lines in the history of the toy industry. Today I will be informing you on how this teenage fashion model came about. Believe it or not, Barbie was a real person. Her name was Barbara Handler. In the early 1950s, Barbie's mom, Ruth Handler, would sit and watch Barbara play with paper dolls. She showed more interest in these paper dolls rather than her own baby dolls. After hours of watching her daughter, Ruth decided she wanted to make a three-dimensional female adult doll. She wanted it to be as lifelike as possible, so she took some of the ideas from a Lily doll that she had purchased while visiting Germany. The Lily doll was hard plastic with modeled earrings and shoes. After seeing the doll, Ruth knew just what she wanted Barbie to look like. She wanted her to be long-limbed, shapely, and beautiful. Ruth took these ideas to the Mattel Corp and presented them to the committee. The committee rejected it, saying this would cost the company way too much money. After they declined, she was still determined to make a doll. She spent hours designing a doll that resembled the Lily doll, and even had a clothing designer make realistic clothes. Ruth's result was finally a Barbie doll. After seeing the product, Mattel agreed to back her idea, and Barbie debuted at the American Toy Fair in New York City in 1959. The very first year, having sold 351,000 dolls, set a new sales record for Mattel. Mattel was founded by Barbie's father, Elliot Handler, and his friend Harold Matson. The M-A-T-T in Mattel stood for Harold Matson, and the E-L stood for Elliot Handler. Now that we know who invented Barbie and how the Mattel Corp was started, let's look at a brief timeline of how some important events throughout Barbie's life. In 1959 is when Barbie debuted. She was 11.5 inches tall. She had movable head and arms and legs, and she wore a black and white striped swimming suit. She was available in either blonde or brunette, and in the first set ever sold, blondes outnumbered brunettes 2-1. This was a picture of the real Barbie. In 1960, Ken finally made his debut. He started with fuzzy hair, but then in 1961, he came out and you could have him in either blonde or brown painted hair. After Ken was made, they came out with Barbie's little sister Skipper in 1964. In 1968, it was a big year for Barbie because they invented her best friend. The main thing about her friend Christine was she was the first African American Barbie doll. Also that year, they invented Talking Barbie. Through the years, Barbie has changed more and more, getting bendable legs, bendable waist, and movable parts. The only flaw parents were complaining about were her distinct breasts, but Mattel didn't care. They said that was one of Barbie's most lifelike features. In 1971, they made one of the biggest appearance changes when they redid Barbie's eyes to look forward rather than at a sideways glance. In 1997, they came out with the hottest doll of the year. It was the Harley-Davidson Barbie doll. It outsold any other toy doll that year. 1999 was a huge year for Barbie. She celebrated her 40th birthday. In 2001, Barbie starred in her first feature film, The Barbie Nutcracker. This year is also when Ken celebrated his 40th birthday. Throughout the years, they have come out with tons of Barbie things. They now have a whole family, pets, homes, cars, anything you can possibly imagine for a Barbie. Barbie has been turned into anyone from Marilyn Monroe all the way up to Paris Hilton. She is one of the U.S. top icons. In 2004, they had a huge news flash. Barbie and Ken had split after 43 years together. But don't worry, they were back together by 2006. This is what some of the newer Barbies look like today. They have came out with highlighted Barbies. They gave Barbies the Snooki Puff. They have everything. They have high heels, bikinis, dogs and purses. They have anything you can imagine. Knowing what you know now about Barbie and all of her accomplishments throughout the years, does this toy rate any higher on your list of toys? While there are still competitors emerging every day, Barbie is still the highest selling doll worldwide in 150 countries, selling about an estimated $2 per second. One of Barbie's only major competitors ever was the Bratz dolls. It outsold Barbie in the United Kingdom. Other than that, Barbie is still the highest selling doll in the United States.